Comprehensive National Cyber Initiative, one of the initiatives that are inherent within it is a system, the name has changed over time, but was originally called National Cyber Protection System. It would leverage Einstein technology to ultimately incrementally roll out a solution to protect .gov. And with DHS leading that, and I think doing a fine job, but there have been some delays in the program. The technology behind Einstein is probably not appropriate to go into here, although the earlier versions of it were based on deep packet inspection, high throughput, minimal data latency, Cloud Shield technology, and that's open information. But there's been other investment made because the ultimate goal of sensors is really in relation to the comments I made earlier, it's really important to migrate sensor technologies that's deployed to protect infrastructure to be able to prevent as opposed to just detect the threat. And it is a difficult challenge. Might there be new technologies that would need to be deployed in sensors? For example, artificial intelligence, which the security industry has typically not been involved with in the past, where you can look at algorithmic-based AI technology to better predict next-generation threats. So there are people talking about that. But clearly, if a sensor like that is going to be used to protect a very, very large integrated infrastructure, clearly it would have viability in critical infrastructure protection and the commercial space as well. One thing that, as a cyber defensive person, you always have to be concerned about is if you migrate to one common design with one common sensor technology, and the threat appreciates how to exploit it, then unless you're very resilient, as Roger suggested, then you do increase your exploitation risk associated with the big enterprise.
So I'll conclude on the following point, which is, speaking about my firm, Booz Allen is batting 1,000 on this issue. Now, I'm a baseball fan, I'm from Boston, which means I'm a Red Sox fan, which means by definition I have a tortured soul. Now, if you get 300, you're in the Hall of Fame, 3 for 10. But in the case of Booz Allen, we're batting 1,000. We're batting 1,000 in the following category. Every network we have looked at, government, commercial, international, we've been asked to look at that network. We have yet to find one that has not been penetrated, that has not been penetrated by a sophisticated adversary and everybody that falls underneath that. This is not an abstract issue, this is an issue of everyday occurrence right now. And we want to get to the point someday where we end up with that Hall of Fame average, maybe of 3 for 10, which means 7 out of every 10 networks are much more secure and are not suffering that level of breach and penetration. So the message from the session today is it is urgent, it is real, we need to take not just technology steps, but human capital steps. And we need the leadership that Congressman McCall and Congressman Langevin have demonstrated to continue if we're going to get our arms around this issue. So let me thank the Congressman, let me thank Secretary Chertoff, and let me thank all the panelists for a great presentation, great discussion today. Thank you.